Well, first of all, I'm very happy for that locker room. It's a long time coming, for this opportunity, an ACC game, another quality top 20 opponent. Just so happy for the players, their effort. The ebb and flow of the game back and forth. The turnovers, the things we capitalized on, and obviously the things we continue to have to work on. But I believe this team is a team that has great resilience and never quit, always fight attitude. And we can have those components with a football team, any organization or program, you can go far. So we're going to enjoy it for a little bit and then know that we got another task, we got another journey. We have another step of the ladder to climb. But again, as I said, very, very happy with the performance and the win, and that's what ultimately matters. Questions?
You can raise your hand. We'll get the wireless mics to you. Mike, you haven't had a win like this in so long. What was that moment like? The crowd rushing the field and the celebration and the locker room after.
I want it so bad. I want it for the players. You understand? A lot of things have gone on. We haven't been successful, but at the same time, a group of guys that say, Coach, we are unified. We are committed to this program. We want to win regardless of who we're playing, where we're playing, the obstacles or the odds. And just to see a team execute and perform and come out on top with a victory, I'm so happy for them and the coaches. It's a very humbling experience, but again, you enjoy the moment, but you know that there's another game coming up and we got to get ready for that.
It had been very difficult to run on them and run for first downs, but you get the ball back with 2:38 and run for 2 first downs and run the clock out. What was just that like for the offense after kind of stalling for a long stretch?
You always want to have a running game that could open up passing lanes but in this situation we just kept hammering, and maybe we weren't successful a couple times, a 2-3 yard run, but in the end, in making the clock run. KP or whoever else was in there they ran as hard in this fourth quarter as they were in the first quarter. We just weren't getting the yardage that we needed. But again, I'm very happy for a guy like Kevin and Taekwon Mazzell, probably had his career day. Just a lot of good things that happened, a lot of things we got to work on. But the running game at the end of the game was something that we relied on, and it helped us win.
Mike, did the refs ever give you an explanation on the roughing the passer penalty that negated the interception? Did you agree with that call?
Well, obviously I didn't agree with the call, but it was made, and you move on and go on to the next play. But again, that was one of the pivotal plays. But again, it was a bounce back that we had to make, and again, I thought the fellas did a good job of responding to that and not keeping their head in the game.
Mike, it looked like you just diversified the run game a little bit with those jet sweeps with Darius and Smoke coming off the edge. What went into that game plan, and did you feel like you had pretty good success there?
Yeah, you don't want to be just one-dimensional all the time, or when you do run the ball, just people start to dial up what you're doing, and you have to do some things to affect perhaps the perimeter or play action passes off of that. So it's part of the game planning of the teams that you play. That's a very good front seven, very, very good. Again, remember, this was the #1 total defense last year, and they've done very good things the last couple games that they've played. So, it was a challenge, but, the guys rose to the challenge and the occasion.
Mike, can you just talk about Grayson today and how he came back after the first pick and played pretty solid the rest of the way?
Again, he's a captain of ours, and he's a guy that, wants to do well. And he prepares hard. And he hurts when, we're not successful. But today there were some things that he did just from a leadership standpoint that we saw, in the spring and that we saw during the summer. So, I'm glad he's on our team. I'm glad he and Matt Johns are best friends. They don't care who gets the credit. We win this game. University of Virginia wins today.
I assume when you took possession at the 25, you were hoping to get inside that for Ian Fry. You got a couple penalties there. What did What did you think was a good range there?
In practice, if you get to about the 30, 34-yard line, he makes them consistently. And so we talk about for kickers, what's the cliff? What do you have to get to on the yard line? And, we were well within. We wanted to be where we were, but the penalties caused issues for us. But we were in the range that we felt comfortable for him kicking.
Mike, you talked about how badly you want to win for the players. After they went ahead and your drive stalled and you had to punt, you obviously needed something pretty big to happen. What are you thinking when the two guys collide, the ball comes loose, and you guys come up with it?
About time it happens to somebody else, I've seen that happen to us a couple times, and just to see that to have favor, and see things like that happen and know that we deserve the breaks as well. You earn what you get, and sometimes you get lucky with things that happen in football games, but staying close, being in the game, being very competitive, we put ourselves in position for when a moment like that occurred to capitalize on it, and that's what we did today.
Mike over here.
I think
sorry.
my hometown newspaper guy, I got to give him love.
Louisville goes 75 yards, first possession, touchdown. Did you guys have to adjust much defensive? Because I think over the next 40 snaps, they only gained 120 yards. Did you have to adjust much, or was it just a matter of getting accustomed to what they were doing?
I think the latter, but and also it was also about just having guys in their gaps and just they were kind of a hurry-up pace as well, and we needed to get lined up correctly. We needed to make sure we made the correct calls, but after that happened, the guys got adjusted. They got their calls. They did their assignments, and it was good to see that the first possession we had coming out of the kickoff in the third quarter, we drove for a score as well. So, but those are the things that you look for teams to continue to get better at. And today, I know we had penalties and some turnovers we have to improve, but we got better overall as a football team, being more competitive.
I'm just going to ask you a little bit more about Ian. Obviously a tough year last year with the injury, and then today just coming up so big like he did. I guess that was nice to see.
It is. I mean, we put Ian on scholarship, earlier, and he deserves it. He demonstrated that he can perform. He's done it in practice. I don't know if it's because he got engaged that all of a sudden changed his whole mindset in his game, but I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him because we needed every kick that he kicked for us today, and it was a great game for him.
Mike, what did you see today in Grayson from a leadership standpoint that you saw in the spring and summer, and I guess that you hadn't seen earlier? And does his performance today change your philosophy of handling your quarterbacks?
The performance today was one that gave us a chance to win the football game. The things that I saw of Grayson today that I saw before is that command of the huddle, looking at the guys and talking to them about, hey, that was a bad play. Let's move on to the next one. There's a leadership quality that your signal callers have to have, and the things that he showed during the spring and during the summer, kind of became manifested today in his operation of running the team. But we'll do what we always do. We'll go back, look at the film of this game, and we'll compete and practice for guys having opportunities. You saw Sadiq Alawanju started, but quickly came out because of some issues that he had. Jackson Mateo started today because he performed in practice. So the mantra of this team is to guys that are going to play or guys that are going to perform, and a lot of times that's during the course of practice and how they do. So. This is who we are. This is what we're going to be, and it's gratifying today that it's led to a victory.
Coach, as well as your defense played against UCLA, they struggled to get off the field when it really mattered. This time, you get the touchdown, and they force a 3-and-out with a big sack from Eli. What's different about this defense now in terms of making the big stops and battling through adversity than where they were a couple weeks ago?
It's no secret that, our corners, the secondary that's back, are guys that have played in a lot of college football games. And I think there was a statistic that, we were the had the fourth oldest group in terms of returning players, on a football team. I believe that Eli and Max and the amount of pressure that they put on people, is directly affected by the opportunities for quarterbacks to throw the ball. Now, there's some things we continue to work on, rush lane issues, but when you apply pressure like that and you have guys that can cover, we're a pressure team. I mean, there's no secret about, what we do and how we do it. But your rush has to be significant in order for your cover guys. Brandon Phelps made a great play downfield. Those type of things. And if we continue to keep doing those things, we have a chance to be a good defense.
Mike, his first 3 years in the program, Miles Gooch was primarily a special teams guy or a blocker when he was at receiver. What has he done kind of this year to earn the trust of the quarterbacks and the coaching staff where, you use him as a target?
Miles came in as a quarterback, and we moved him to wide receiver. He was a guy that was contemplating whether or not he wanted to come back for his 5th year, but he's a selfless individual and just made himself into a guy that just tries hard, works hard, and became a starter for us. And so his selfless attitude has really kind of just kind of went throughout the team in terms of whatever it is you do, whatever your job, whatever your responsibility, do it because it's going to be credited for the team. And that's all that matters is about the team. And when you have an older guy like that who, signifies that this is what I am, this is what I'm going to do for the team, the other people take notice. And I believe he had a career day for himself today, and it was great to see him have some success.
Mike, a lot of teams around college football early on kind of struggle to find an identity of who they are, how they're going to win. It seems like you guys have figured out a formula. How would you kind of describe your identity through 3 games?
Well, we got to play great defense, and I believe that defense is pretty good. Offensively, we have to be able to move the ball and be efficient in what we're asking our guys to do. And then special teams, it's a matter of the field position. Again, they got a couple long returns, but there were a couple times that Vazenilek, how's that, Doug? Was that better? Okay. Punted the ball. We downed the ball inside their 5-yard line. And that field position, I mean, that's 98, whatever yards you got to go. And it was great to see, execution from different aspects of our team and the special teams unit there. They shined in some areas, and obviously we got to improve in others.
Let's take a couple more questions here, and we've got players in the back already.
Mike, Louisville goes to a freshman quarterback there late in the first half and the entire third quarter. Do you do even more creative things at that point defensively to try to rattle a kid?
Well, I mean, you try to put pressure on them for sure. You try to give different looks. You try to do things that, that as they may appear, you want to do something different. And whether it worked or not, I don't know, but it was enough that, things happened for us, particularly third down situations. And there was a period, I believe, in the third quarter that they had like a total of 4 yards, and that was a tremendous defensive effort.
Mike, you've talked about the players, and it sounds like, all through preseason, you guys believe you would be able to turn this around. But a win like this, what does that do for just the psyche of a team going forward, being able to battle adversity like you did today?
We're all affected by the psychology of the results that happen on the field, in the classroom, anywhere. When you can play, again, it's another top 20 team. And this team has played, we're going to continue to keep playing teams that are really good and that are ranked. But when you can play a team that's ranked and hold your own and then come out and win, then obviously your whole attitude, the persona, how you see yourself, how others perceive you, that improves. And so, again, we're hungry. We're a humble team. This is a good win, but, it's a long season, and we're on to the next opponent.
What it means to see a guy like that who maybe doesn't get a lot of headlines or whatever come up with a big play like that.
It's amazing. This is our team. Our team is full of guys that have been here for a while but haven't been household names, that have embraced their role, what they've been asked to do, and they take it and they do it without arguing, without pouting, and they do it with, the aspect that if I do well, then the team does well. And Kelvin has done that, and he's grown, he's matured. We had some rough times when he was here earlier, but he's matured, and the guy's really become, I'm proud of him, he's become a guy that we can count on and we can rely on. So it's great for him to have a game that he had like today.